Today's High Button podcast is brought to you by Tyler Noseworthy. For those of you who don't know, Tyler recently decided to step away from professional hockey to start his career as an advisor with Sun Life Financial. Tyler takes pride in the fact that his new responsibility is to help individuals, families, and businesses identify their financial needs to provide protection on the things that mean the most to them. When it comes to planning for the future, it can be overwhelming and intimidating. Tyler is there to ensure that all your financial needs are taken into consideration by providing an expert approach to you. Be sure to check out Tyler's business profile on Facebook, or you can reach out to him directly at 902-425-9191. Nailed it. All right, let's do it. What's going on?
Let's do it. Not too much, bro. Just had a little bit of sushi. You know how I do.
Did you? Where'd you go?
Kodaraku, as always.
Where is that? Where is that?
It's like right on Spring Garden. If you're like at the McDonald's and you cross the street, there's Primal and Cha Time, and yeah, it's like I think it's Brenton Street. If
talk a bit closer into the mic. I'm sorry. You can move it towards you, like if you're comfortable.
Forward. Yeah, no, I'm chill.
Yeah, you're beautiful right there. Cool? That's awesome. But yeah. All right, man. So, you know, to start it, I'm happy that I met you. You know, Riley made the connection with me and you, but between me and you, excuse me. But you're a go-getter. Like you're a guy that talks, but you back up your words.
Well,
I guess. And when in the entrepreneurial world, a lot of people think that they're entrepreneurs now and they talk about it, but I find you deliver on a lot of things. So that's what kind of fascinates me about you. So maybe talk about like the beginnings of when you realized, I guess, you wanted to be an entrepreneur and do the things you do.
All right. So, I mean, I've got like I guess it's kind of been a complicated, that's the story of an entrepreneur. So it's got its ups and its downs and its turnarounds. And so essentially I just signed up for the commerce degree at Dalhousie University.
Okay.
And I didn't entirely know what I wanted to do when I did that. I just figured getting a business background and kind of, I can apply those skills wherever, whatever, with whoever. So I did that. And for most of the time I was in that, I was doing the accounting program, and then I decided I'm going to focus more on marketing after I did my final internship in the radio station there. And so I realized I could sit at a desk, I could just kind of, I could get the job done with accounting, but I could do an unbelievable job with marketing because it's something that I found I was very passionate about.
So how did you find that out, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so with my internship with the radio station, it's 105.9 The Region.
Okay.
They're in York Region, just north of Toronto.
Yeah.
And essentially I started doing their social media, and through that internship they were really trying to give me a taste of everything. So I did some sales, I did some scripting for some radio ads, I did some interviews, some kind of just some radio show stuff, and I'd come up with different bits for them, and it just got to the point where it's like, this is me. I love doing this. I can use my creativity, and I understand what has to be included from a business point of view and from a marketing point of view. And so I found that that's kind of where I think I should be applying my business skills, is to media, and to kind of, it's to radio, it's to
something Instagram. You enjoy.
It's to something that I enjoy. And right now I'm kind of in the process of working my way into the music industry to some extent, and I'm kind of in this place where I'm figuring out to which extent that is, like what am I going to do in the music industry? I've got all these marketing skills, etc. So I've just kind of tried to, I will never say no. If there's a free opportunity to learn, if there's a class or something, I will always, if it's free, if it's not free, I'll still consider if it's worth it. If I feel I can get value out of that, then I will certainly do that. I'll go through that class and I'll see what I can take away from it. I've gone through some crash courses and seminars and stuff that it's just like, I don't know why I'm here. I know exactly what they're talking about and all that, but it's like, I've met good people through those. Like, it's just taking every opportunity to further your education and further to grow yourself and subsequently your businesses and your projects and everything, your network.
Well, the more things you do, the more people you're going to meet, is plain and simple.
Exactly.
Unless you're going to the same spot, the same time, you know what I mean, at all times, which isn't the case, obviously, for that.
Sometimes, with Perks Halifax, I tend to go to the bars pretty often, network with the bar community and with the restaurant community, stuff like that. So, on Fridays and Saturdays and Thursdays, whatever the day may be, for a good portion of the last year, I was going out most of those nights and I was networking and talking business with people. And No, I've tired myself out, and
It's a great time to talk to people, hey man, when people are drinking and stuff.
well, it's like you get to bond and you get to really chat, and it's like, this is business, but it's also, it doesn't have to be final right now. We can
It's not
talk
pressure.
ideas. It's just, let's get creative. Well,
Well, that's the goal.
What's that?
Well, that's the goal. Like, is to
Yeah.
be able to create business and your own personal brand. Like, I guess, personal
circle,
brand, but
right?
your circle,
Yeah.
And that's what I think a lot of people struggle with. They feel pressure towards it, and they don't want to mix in their own ideas and things like that.
Yeah.
That's what I struggled with that when I was younger. Before I started like the High Button, I knew I always wanted to do something like this, but ever since I've started to do it, business just flows naturally, I guess, because I know what I'm talking about. Does that make sense?
It just,
for sure.
It feels like everything starts to happen for a reason.
Yeah.
It seems like everything that's happening it's just supposed to be happening, and it wouldn't happen any other. It's like, I don't know. I talk about a lot about this. It's almost like a conspiracy theory, or it's just a theory.
Yeah.
Where it's called synchronicity, and it's like it's the universe trying to tell you something, and usually what it's trying to tell you is that you're doing something correctly. And synchronicity is when you start seeing certain people in the same place, or you run into someone that you just thought about, or you get a call
that
from
shit's
someone that you just heard, like we're just talking about something
Happens to
like
me all
that,
the
or you
time.
look at 11:11 on the clock, like that is synchronicity. And it's really interesting. I'd suggest everybody look into that.
You know, one thing I find happens, I don't know if this falls under that category. It's like, you're sitting in a car with your buddy or whatever, and you're driving down the road, and the first half of the song plays, no one says a word, and then all of a sudden you and him or you and her start singing the exact same part at the exact same time, like almost halfway through the song, and you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what is that one of those things?
Yeah, well, it's like that's the
great. It
thing.
happens to me
It's like
all the time.
it's like there's a deeper connection than just the surf. Like there's a deeper connection than what it seems on the surface. Like there's so much happening around you, whether it's with fucking particles, excuse my French.
No, go ahead.
It's like, I don't know, something.
We're bilingual here.
You know what? Honestly, I'm gonna go off on a tangent.
Do it, man. Go ahead.
I don't
Give
even
her.
remember.
Preach.
Well, no, I heard something when I was a kid, and I don't know, it kind of made me think. It was as I was leaving a buddy of mine's house, and his older sister was waiting with me while I was like waiting for my ride, and we were just talking about emotions and stuff like that. And she mentioned how it's very interesting, like with everyone's talking about these vibes and these, like the vibes when you
Good
walk in a room,
vibes.
someone's got a vibe. But it's like, what is a vibe? KO talked about it on another podcast recently, and Change the Narrative, great podcast. But essentially, she kind of defined the vibe in a sense, which is like, if your brain is thinking something on a particle level, like to that smallest extent, those particles are probably they're affected by your thoughts. If your brain is thinking something, it's affecting the particles around you. So no matter what, those particles are going to, at some point in time, affect the people around you.
So it's like your thoughts have power. Your thoughts
do have power.
It's like when they say negative energy is more contagious.
Yeah, and it relates to the power of attraction. It relates to, I think the power of attraction. I don't know if there's a movie called
Law
The
of
Secret.
Attraction, isn't it?
The Law of Attraction.
Yeah.
Do you ever just walk by somebody and just get like just a bad gut feeling or something like that? I feel like that's something that,
I think
in that
everybody,
category.
when they grow up and when they go through different experiences, they're conditioned to read people in different ways. And I think that when you're going through life, you learn to do it better and more accurately because more experiences. So I think that, I'll walk down the street and I'll see people and I'm like, oh, those, I can tell just by their vibe that they're a friendly person. They're good people.
That's exactly what I
I
mean.
can also tell some people they're just kind of stuck up. They don't look like they got the time for conversation.
and then the people that look like that, then you talk to them and then you're surprised that they weren't.
Yeah, it depends. People can surprise you, but
For sure.
It's a matter about giving those people a chance and really just being open to talk to everybody.
Which is definitely a good thing for an entrepreneur.
Yeah, it's something that I find a lot of people ask me, I'm not going to say everyone, but a lot of people will ask me, it's like, yo, like, so many people growing up, people would be like, oh, like, but you Max knows them. And it's like, I don't know. I would always speak to people at parties, and I love meeting people. It's something I really find I thrive off of. Like, it helps me feel better to meet more people. And having this network, it's tough. It's like, I've got a great network. How do I build something with it? And that's the position I'm in now, where it's like, we can do things like these. We can chat about it. We can reach out to that network, and we can think of ways to help that network. And there's so much that can be said for building your network.
I think we're...
When it comes to building your network, well, this is the only thing I can really relate to with the high button, is like, I'm good at some things. I think I'm a good people person. I'm okay with editing. I'm good at some things, but excuse me, I feel like if you're good with one aspect of anything in life, that other people with other skill sets will attract to you. That's one thing that I've noticed this past 2 months or so. You know, when it comes to, you know, talking to athletes or recruiting, you know, I'm not the best at that, but Doodle is. He's good with words. So he's great at that for the high button. With Riley, you know, he's great at video. He's great at editing. He's great at that stuff. I'm not really the best at that, but he was attracted to my one skill set. Was Sheldon with the website. There's so many things that makes the high button go in a circle that I could never do, but yet these three guys came to me because, you know, I'd like to think that I'm good at what I do with the interviews and things like that. And that's one thing that I've noticed so far, is that if you're good at one thing, people will just attract to you, and you can make something grow when you talk about a network.
Especially if you're doing the thing that you're good at and you're not trying to be or do something that, you know what I mean? Like I always say, keep it in the toolbox. So it's like, remember the coaches used to say back in the day, if you bale hay, if you lug water, you know what I mean? Like do what you're good at and that'll work for you. You know what I mean? So that's exactly what you're doing, and that's why people are attracted to you, which is what building your circle is. It's something I personally, it's something I wanted to talk about today. It's something I've had an issue with for the last couple of years, and it's something I've really learned over the last few months that I've had this issue with. It's spreading yourself too thin. It's like I've been spreading myself too thin. I've been focused on so many different projects, because that is with my strength, being open-minded and talking to people and speaking with everyone, networking with everyone. There's literally countless ideas that I'd like to follow up on. Yeah. So it's really a matter of trying to identify which of those ideas are going to help you contribute to your future and help you build something that is going to move you forward, and not just be like, oh look, I did something. Yeah. And so I find that, I mean, the last 2 years, primarily the last year or so, but the last 2 years I've really been spreading myself too thin, and it's tough to kind of realize that and step back and be like, yo, I gotta just focus on this, because this is going to make me enough to live, and this is going to build my credibility so I can do this with my life. And it's really a matter of identifying the goals and where you see yourself.
So do you think that's been working for you? Like the fact that you haven't been spreading yourself thin, or do you...
As of lately, in the last few months, I've been really focusing, and I'm finding the same thing as you. It's like things are happening. I'm meeting people that I need to be meeting, and I'm meeting people that are interested in what I'm interested in. They see the same vision as me. And it's like, this is the stuff that I really needed to happen, because I've been in a bit of a rut. Like I haven't, you know, it's like the entrepreneur life cycle. I've seen like those graphs, and it's like ups and downs. I should never be an entrepreneur. Oh, this is great. I hate being an entrepreneur. This is great. You know, it's like,
it's those downs. It's those, if you're able to survive through those downs, like trust me, man, there's been times where I wake up in the morning, it's like, what the fuck am I doing right now? This isn't going to work. But then if you're able to battle through that and just say, okay, you know what? No, this will work. If I'm consistent at it, if I work at it, if I motivate other people, it will work. But that's the thing with most people. I think it's when you're in those downs and you're in those ruts, you know,
well, it's easier just to give up at that point, you know what I mean, than it is to battle on and go the extra mile to make something work if you believe in it. Like everyone says, you can do anything you put your mind to, right? And like realistically, like that's true, you know what I mean? Like, you can still get to it even if you hit a few speed bumps along the way.
But the thing is, you got to work towards that. Yeah. And I mean, I've found that I was telling myself I was working towards things, and I'd have a list of things to do for something, but I wouldn't make it through that stuff as fast as I know I could. And it starts to let me down. Like I felt I was letting myself down, but it was like, these projects are going nowhere. It's like, I'm really spreading myself too thin. I've got too many tasks with too many projects. That's when it comes down to building the team and reaching out. And that's actually how we connected, is me reaching out to Riley and being like, let's chat about ways to build this and work together and partner up.
That's how Riley just reached out to me. He messaged me. I think it was one video. I don't even know. No, we didn't even have video content. It was just a podcast. And he reached out to me. He was like, hey, if you ever want to do video content, I didn't even think about it. I was just like, oh, wait a second. Yeah, that could work. You know what I mean? I don't know.
But it's putting yourself out there, and it's letting people know. It's like, people only know I'm on social media because I'm thinking about it daily. I'm trying to put out a post daily. It gets so difficult to think of something to put out daily, but it's like,
how do girls do it?
but no, it's like businesses, everyone, like you, in order to be a presence on social media, in order to build your presence on social media, it's about consistency, and it's posting daily and maintaining a brand, and it's a very tough thing to do. So it's very draining in addition to all the side projects. It's like,
I also hear with the social media, there's like better times to post and stuff, and like if you 100%. There's like studies that show it, and like, oh, if you post at this time, like you'll get, like, obviously Monday morning no one is probably looking at your shit, you know what I mean? Friday afternoon you're probably getting all kinds of people scrolling, you know what I mean? That kind of shit.
I mean,
analytics.
Yeah, exactly.
But it also depends on your brand at that rate. If your following is a following of people who go out, our following on Instagram for Perks Halifax is people who go out, people who like to eat at restaurants, and people, students.
And people want to know what they can get before they go. It's plain and simple, right? Like,
so you'll find, find at lunchtime, and you'll find around the dinner hour, and you'll find on weekends, on Thursdays and Fridays, people are going to our page. And so we're posting more on those days because there's more people to see it. And if we're posting content, they're seeing that we're posting on those days. It's just, it's the social media algorithm is what it comes down to.
Well, like you said, it's not easy to do.
No, but I mean, it could be easy. There's so many different tools out nowadays. Even within Instagram's own app, they've got the analytics and the insights.
True.
But what I find very interesting is that if you use those insights and you compare them to, there's just other apps that'll tell you the prime times to post and whatever. If you compare the ones that Instagram says to the ones that you just download through the app store or whatever, they're all different. So it's really a matter of trying to think about what is the most reasonable, what is the most legitimate, like what is triggering these times, what are people doing at these times, how can I engage my audience better is what you should always be thinking.
Absolutely.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
When it comes to actual content, did you ever find yourself at the beginning like thinking too much about it?
Yeah.
You just kind of you didn't let go. That's what I thought recently. I'm thinking too much about the content we're putting out.
Well, 100%. At the same time, it comes down to right now, I think you're in the process of really, I feel like we're starting to build the brand, and you'd like to build it to a certain standard, and you've got to lay down your standards, and you've got to kind of have your consistency schedule, like you got to know what you want to be your minimum kind of post, and then if it satisfies that minimum, then fine, post it. But I mean, it's stuff like with the video editing, you can't sit and look at one thing for a whole week. It just doesn't work. So it's like, just move on. Go. You're
being
with your
fancy.
Gut.
You got to just kind of get it out.
Just go with your gut, and the more content, the better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If people don't like it, then tell me you don't like it in the comments below.
Yeah, and you got to learn from it. That's another thing I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
When it comes to the posting and things like this, do you learn from your mistakes, I guess is what I want to say, and then adapt and then keep moving forward? Or do you just listen to your heart, think it's good, and just go with the flow? You listen?
Yeah, I think it would be real ignorant for me to just think I'm always right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that with social media and with e-commerce and with the tools that are available to us on our phones and on our computers today, you can learn. If you're not learning at least one new skill, one new little bit of information about something you're using daily, like Instagram or Facebook, if you're not just diving into information about how that works, it's like, I don't know.
Well, it's information. You need this information. Back in the day, it was who knows how to make a fire. I need to be around that person. Now there's just more information. You need to know that information. You need to know how to do this stuff.
It's just like seek further knowledge.
Yeah, exactly.
Straight up.
Well, back to the whole education thing that you were talking about. Education is power.
But yeah, it's really, I mean. Yeah.
If you can mix something you enjoy into your school routine, I can imagine that it would be a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable to do. I'm not speaking from experience, of course, but I have buddies who all went through school, and you can see who enjoys what and who doesn't, and who's just doing it just because. But if you're sitting here, like, obviously if there was like a course for video games and shit, people playing video games, then it would be obviously a really hot course. But people would enjoy it, so they would do better. You know what I mean? So
sorry.
You go.
Well, I was just going to say, it's very interesting. I wanted to talk about that as well with starting Perks and everything, because I wasn't the one who started it, but when I was in my final year of university, when I realized I really got this knack for marketing and I really wanted to pursue a career in marketing, I spoke with my buddy who had started it the year prior, and he was leaving the city and he has organized another job. So we figured out how we were going to make it work between the two of us. But my reason for that was I found something that I really love doing. He had built a platform that I knew I could do lots with. And so we organized to make that happen. I spoke to him. I reached out. He reached out back. We spoke about it. It took a few weeks to really figure out how we were going to make this work. But it's like I was able to use the stuff that I was learning in school through my last year was all about marketing and social media and stuff like that. I was able to literally practice that with my own brand. And so that's something I found was very helpful and valuable for me was, if you're in business school or you're in any school, build a business of some sort to really practice those skills that you're learning. If you're an artist and you're learning how to paint different techniques, start an Instagram page, start selling that. If you don't know how, reach out to someone. I can help you.
That's the world we live in today.
Literally, that is it. Everything is accessible. If you've got a creative skill, if you don't, you can do something with the internet. So it's like, just start searching.
Be like if you were in school and they want you to do like a portfolio or a project right now on like a broadcasting thing or something, you'd be like, okay, cool, this is a good way for me to throw the hi button out there right in class, plus I'm already doing it, plus it's a good for a project, you know what I mean? So I think that's more or less what I got from what he was just saying.
Well, you gotta love it. Like, I don't know if I'd wake up every single day and essentially dedicate my life to this business. I guess it is a business now. I wouldn't dedicate my life to it if I didn't love it. I can't say I've dedicated my life to it. It's only been a year, but I love it. I love sitting. I love talking. I love entertaining. I love sports. I love food. I love everything under the sun that I love is underneath that HB logo. And if I can, the money that, I don't want to bring up money, but the first amount of money we made with the High Button, which was recently, wasn't a lot of money, but that was the most important amount of money I've ever made in my entire life. And the fact that I've made big paychecks, I've made $1,000, but it's been over a week or whatever. The fact that I made the amount of money that I made this past month through the High Button is the most important amount of money I've ever made in my entire life, because I know how to do it now.
It's almost like a checkpoint.
It's a checkpoint. I know how to make money now by myself. I know that I don't have to go to a job and hand in a resume and sit down and prove to you why I can work for you. I know how to make money now, and that forever, until the day I die. What's this month? June 2018. Most important month of my life, in my opinion, because I know how to do it now.
Once you learn that you can actually earn income without working for a massive corporation or without... certainly those are very beneficial experiences, and if you've got an in with a corporation, then flex that, work it. But it's like, if you can show to yourself, like you've done, that you don't need someone higher than you to earn a living and to love life. It's like you're doing something you love and you're able to slowly produce an income off of it. So why wouldn't you continue doing that to have something that within the next 3 to 5 years is going to be something that not only, like everybody can benefit from it, everybody being on it. It's a platform. It's like,
I certainly wouldn't be driving half hour almost every day if I didn't love it either.
This guy's dedicated.
I believe it.
It's not even about anything. I'm the same. I learn new things, meet new people. I walk down the street, I'll see you now, and then it's just like a familiar face. That's pretty much what the Maritimes is all about, is the familiar faces. You know what I mean? Like, you walk down the street and you're not like, okay, what can happen here? You're like, hey, oh shit, look, that was him and her, and you know what I mean? Like, that's more or less how I've lived my life here, and I think that's a big thing that we go after here, and we probably set the tone here for most places.
It's known out here for being the friendliest place, and I find it's very true. Like, coming to Halifax, or whenever I've got visitors, like my family, when they come to visit me out east, there's no way that if I go out for even 10 to 20 minutes anywhere in Halifax, I'm not going to see someone I know. I always see someone. It's just a thing. It's like, but in Toronto, it happens. You see someone at the Eaton Centre, you see someone at Yorkville, whatever it may be. But here, it's like, no matter where you are, everyone is there, because everything is 5 minutes away. So you're always seeing people. It's a friendly place. There's people everywhere. Like,
I know. It's unreal.
Crazy. It's crazy.
I think that's half of the reward too. Don't get me wrong, the money's great, but when someone comes up to you and says, "Hey man, I love what you're doing," like that's the best feeling in the world. You're just like, I'm doing something that someone is enjoying. It's an escape. When people listen to this podcast, I hope that they're sitting at their desk at a job that they hate, and while they're listening to this, it's an escape for them. If I can make you escape for an hour out of your day, I'm doing my job. That's what I think.
If you're having a shit day and even just for 5 seconds you giggled at it, then
Did
you know
my
what I
job.
mean? Yeah, exactly, right? And a lot of people use it to commute. I mean, everybody knows, like, I know for driving back and forth into the city, and especially you in Toronto, I always say everything in Toronto is an hour away. You know what I mean? No matter what you're doing. Yeah. So when you're commuting and you're just like, oh my God, you're getting sick of this commute and blah, blah, blah. Now, like, I know just from people I've talked to over the last little bit, you drive and listen to this, so that's, like you said, that's the main goal, and that's what you shoot for, really.
Yeah, and like I said, money's great. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's a incredible feeling. I was at the lacrosse pod. Did you listen to that one I did with Andre and
I listened to them all, baby.
and Joe? Two lacrosse guys, grew up with them, and I went to lacrosse the next day or 2 days ago, and there's a ref that refs the league, and he came up to me and he was telling me he was loving the podcast, and it was like, I'm gonna, he's not gonna give me a penalty this game, that's for sure. So
you don't ever get penalties in lacrosse, I don't imagine.
Oh, I'm a clean player.
Yeah, oh yeah, you can't get penalties for kissing people.
Yeah.
Fuck. Drop something.
No, it's the phone. I'm okay. Yeah, I want to talk about. This is really off topic. Hopefully.
I want to
talk about Toronto Raptors games when you go.
We talked about it briefly.
This guy has really season tickets to the Raptors game, really close to the floor.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that. How awesome is that? And how many times have you seen Drake? And if you did, just talk about that.
So I guess, yeah. I mean, growing up, I was pretty fortunate. My parents love the Raptors.
Love it.
I mean, next to Toronto's super fan, like, I could totally see my dad just being like one of the top. Like, every dinner conversation is about the Raptors or the Jays. Like,
what about the Leafs, man?
To the point where I just shut up at dinner. I just don't even talk. Like, I love the Raptors, but I can only talk about it so much.
Why?
Well, because they just talk about it so much, like it's their topic of conversation, which I love. It's amazing because it shows that they're passionate about a culture.
Honey, how was work? Well, I seen a Raptors picture on the internet.
No, like literally. Oh, dude, I get involved in the group messages still. I get messages from my sister and my dad. Oh my God, 2-0 so and so, and it's like, it's just they're insanely
everywhere.
passionate about the sports, which as a kid I certainly was as well. I think when I was probably in first grade to maybe 8th or 9th grade, I was probably going to games once or twice every month at least.
Do you guys have Leafs tickets too?
For
Please don't say
growing
yes.
up, we had we'd share some tickets. It was like we'd share a seasons pack with a bunch of family friends or something.
Okay.
I don't even know how that would
here.
work, but
this guy's a huge Leafs fan. So
oh man, there's certainly some seasons around Toronto.
Oh fuck!
If anyone's listening to this and you've got seasons and you've got a few to sell, or if you can't make it to a game last minute, reach out. We'll do a giveaway. We'll find the buddy.
There you go.
We'll hook it up.
I'll go with you.
Yeah, boom. You got yourself a date. But yeah, it's pretty dope. Like I said, I'm not a huge sports guy anymore, but I still love going because just like the roaring of the crowds, like everyone, it's like you view unity. Like you get to see people coming together and believing in the same thing. It's like going to a concert and you see people cheering for their favorite artist. It's
singing every lyric.
Exactly. Yeah. And just like booing at the same time. Yeah. Like everyone agrees you made a shitty call. Like I don't need to know sports to
5,000 family members.
Yeah. Well, one of the craziest fan bases in the NBA, also the NHL. Like when the Raptors, when they go to play in like Milwaukee, I guarantee there'll be at least 1,000 Raptors fans there somehow because they represent Canada, right? There's no Vancouver Grizzlies; they're all across Canada. Yeah. Same with the Jays. Jays, one of the craziest fan bases going,
and it's just growing and growing. Well, it grew up big over the last couple of years there, but.
Well, the fact that they suck, they're not that good now.
I just feel like that year they were really good. I'm pretty sure every girl east of Toronto bought a Blue Jays hat.
I wouldn't be surprised also.
Yeah, I was one of them. I bought a Jays hat.
I already had a couple.
Another reason I'm really fascinated by the whole sports industry is with collaborations from people like Drake. and with him and the Raptors and how they've got the Drake night and how he's really pushed forward this movement of kind of collaboration between sports people and music people. And it's
the NBA is a great face for that.
Well,
the entertainment,
NBA, all like NFL, they're all the people. I think who's that? Is it not Ray Sremmurd? It's a band called They. I think they've got placement with, I don't know if it's UFC or NFL or something, but it's like there's so much opportunity. They've got these audiences coming into stadiums. That's how many thousands of people each night that if you play a new song by a new artist that's never been heard in their life, boom. If people like it,
even if 1,000 people download it then and there,
10 people download it, and then those 10 people played it every single day, and those people, say one of them's an Uber driver in Toronto, they're picking up 10 people at least every single day.
Yeah,
that fan base is growing daily.
See, that's what I like about him. He thinks outside the box. He thinks like that. He's like, oh, if someone's in an Uber, that's something.
I don't. It's like for me, that's like I love thinking about that. That's something. That's the way.
That's what gets you going.
So at what point? Because I think this will be a good question for you. At what point did you realize, okay, everyone's thinking like this and I'm not? I'm an outside the box thinker. This is the route I'm going to take and I'm going to go for it. How old were you, do you think?
Well, I mean, honestly, it was really after doing my marketing internship. I mean, I've always known that I've had a musical skill. Growing up, I played piano. I did some Royal Conservatory music stuff, and I guess I got too consumed by sports. Funny enough, I'm not into sports, but I still snowboard. I love snowboarding. And it's like, I really got to the point where I needed to choose, what am I going to do? Am I going to focus my time again on snowboarding, or if I wanted to do hockey, I can't go into the city for a hockey match and then go all the way up north. It's like there's too many decisions to make.
It's funny
thinning yourself out.
Spreading myself out.
It's funny that comes up in this scenario too, because any of the athletes that we've done, they always get to a point where they have to choose which road am I going to take. Like I remember Alds was on, he was like, okay, I'm really good at baseball and I'm really good at hockey, but now they're starting to mingle and I can't do both, so now you have to choose which one. And I think you obviously knew which one you were actually going to take and that you wanted to take, and that's the road you took, and the other one was just history.
Well, yeah, and it's when people started to really recognize, it's like, wow, I don't know how you thought of that, or I don't know, like, that's so creative. It's like, well, that didn't really take me anything, but if you want me to keep doing that, then sure, let's
but that's the thing that people struggle with. They think too much.
Yeah.
What's the
overthinking?
What's the thing I did today? That shot. I was in my bed last night. I got to do something different. What's something quick, simple, but effective?
Yeah.
Oh, I shoot a ball. I shoot a hockey puck, lacrosse ball, cricket,
and
pool shot, golf shot. That shot.
Yeah.
There you go. Simple. We did the first one today. There's going to be a million more coming. You got to think. People overthink.
Yeah.
People don't know how to start. Like the name The High Button. That's another great example. What the fuck? What does that mean? The High Button. I don't know. Let's just go with it. Keep going. That's one step. Just go.
Yeah.
People will think about a name for a brand for a year, a month, 2 years. Like it's just, who cares? Just go. Do it. If like you said before, you're not going to love everything. You're going to make a mistake. You're going to learn from your mistake, and you're going to go. But people don't want to make a mistake. You just got to keep going.
Well, mistakes are scary, and if you, mean, starting a brand especially, it's like this is something you're really trying to commit all of your time to. Like you don't want to choose a name that's really, you're going to look at every day when you're working on this project. You want to choose something that you're going to look at and be like, wow, I put great thought into that. So I mean, I see both sides at the same time.
Understandable.
There's nothing to say you can't change your brand name down the road, or you can't start another brand under that brand if you've already worked on it. It's like, just start,
make it cool. The High Button, first thing, not the coolest name, but we'll make it
different
cool.
Though.
It's different.
So
just go with it.
So you say a buddy of yours originally started Perks.
Yeah.
Or did you switch the name, or was it always that?
It's always been Perks.
Do you know where he got the idea from? Because I was always like, I'm kind of intrigued. Like Perks, I kind of get it. Like you get to see what people are offering. That's a perk, I guess.
Well,
but like,
what it is we provide a platform for people to discover local perks in their city benefits. It's
synonym.
Perks of Halifax, baby.
It's if you want perks in your city, then come to Perks Halifax. We've got deals, we've got discounts, we've got free stuff, we got giveaways, we've got bracelets that you can get into the bars on the weekend, and you can skip the line and get free cover and free poutine and different food items and stuff like that.
And that's just the short version, hey?
Well,
exactly. That's where well, we're not going to get into it, but that is like, because he has so much promotion. You know, he has a lot of ins with.
So
I
like
don't wanna get into it, but
for you, they'd be like, okay, like you promote this, we'll offer such and such deal. If they come in and mention they seen it on this, then it goes towards you or whatever kind of thing.
Well, it totally depends on the marketing deal. Like,
Right.
there's so many different ways to structure a sponsorship or a partnership. So it really comes down to what the goal of that partnership is going to be.
Right.
What we guarantee every single time is a certain amount of views, a certain amount of impressions. If someone's
Right.
not happy with their post, then we'll certainly, we'll post it again.
Mm-hmm.
But we really are, it's a small marketing firm, and we'll try and handle every single thing that you throw at us.
Right.
It's just really a matter of, we will tell you what we can do and what other people can do better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really just about making sure that the client knows we're there to help them. We're trying to build our business the same way we're trying to build theirs.
Right.
And our work is a reflection of us. So it's
Well,
like
the word partnership, right?
yeah, we're there to grow. We're an outlet for people to connect with students and the younger population in Halifax. Upwards of, I believe our audience averages between 18 to 28 years old, something like that.
Male and
32.
female?
Male and female. I think it's probably 60 to 70% female on our Instagram, at least.
yeah.
But yeah, we like to be the source for information. I mean, another reason I got involved with Perks is because growing up through Facebook, before I was really even on Instagram, before Instagram stories were even a thing. That's another thing. We started Instagram before stories were even like our Perks thing before stories were even
Oh, you guys look
a thing. So
That's
I've
huge.
really been able to look at the way that's helped us grow as well.
Well, that just shows the dedication. You stuck
yeah.
with it.
Well, it's
You're sticking
and-
with it.
Well, it's also adapting to new technologies. Right now, IGTV's got something that's just come out. I don't know if you've heard about that at all, but we'll talk about it for sure.
Oh, that Instagram TV thing.
Yeah,
Is that for everyone, or is that just for?
No, it's for everyone.
So we can do that?
100%. I was
can
going
do
to
it?
recommend we sit and chat about it after, because
Yeah.
we can be uploading all the high button content onto the IGTV.
It's crazy how daily that shit changes, man. Like, that's the thing. You can't just be comfortable in one technology area, especially if that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing I've noticed over the last little bit. I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then next morning when I wake up, there's something new and cooler and you're like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah.
You got to keep up.
Yeah,
That's what I think.
exactly.
That's what I dislike about the education system right now, is that it can't keep up. I think don't get me wrong, education is important. The school system is important for some things. But when I talk to a lot of people that take business, they say that these classes are teaching something that maybe is appropriate 20 years ago and not for today. Like you just said, it's changing every single day, every single second. There's always something that you need to learn and to be adjusting to. And these professors in these classrooms, to be quite honest, don't really know what they're talking about. They need guys like you in there, to be honest, giving a social media
Living
course.
it.
You know what? Like,
It also comes down to the fact that these professors are working with institutions, and all these institutions have requirements and expectations for their their lesson plans, and they've got to go through different
Synopsis.
layers of getting signed off and review and stuff like that. And it's like,
what is that?
well, that's
what's
the thing.
that? That's
It's
time
very
that's being
outdated.
wasted.
I think that's why we've seen the rise of the online academies and the online courses and
Online dating.
online everything. Sure, that too. But yeah, it's like everything needs to continuously adapt to our, like, everybody in every business we all need to continuously adapt to our surroundings, and our surroundings, especially within the marketing and the social media and media environment, it's changing daily. Technological environment generally, with CRM tools and different ways to make a website, different ways to promote video, like different ways to book clients, it's crazy.
it's unbelievable.
What you can do. You can run your whole business on your phone.
Oh, in your
Literally,
bed. You can
in
run a
your
business
hand.
from your bed. Don't
In
you?
your-
I've kind of been doing it, kind of.
Yeah.
in your fucking hand. You
Yeah.
can sit on the couch and smoke cigarettes if you want it and
Yeah.
run your business from your phone.
Done. It's a thing.
Could you imagine?
I could, yeah.
Have you ever
That's
read
what I
the
mean.
book? Have you ever read the book 4 Hour Work Week by Timothy Ferriss?
I've heard of it, but I can't say I've read it.
Great book. It's about like outsourcing your work. Like, you essentially just have a business, and you outsource your work. So you have a guy that does your accounting. You have someone. Well, essentially, you just have to make enough money to pay all these people, but all you need to do is manage this business 4 hours out of the week, and you can travel around the world, do whatever you want. It is a little bit of a reach, but it's doable. You just need to outsource your work.
But he's providing the basis for you to look at and be like, okay, he's suggesting this. This is all very wise. Let me build on this and apply it to my own life. And, that's the way. The other thing, sorry, I know you're looking at this book. I was leaving my apartment today and I found this book, and I figured since we're talking about entrepreneurial stuff, it's called The Little Book That Beats the Market.
The Little Book That Beats the Market.
And
Explain.
It's by a guy named Joel Greenblatt, and
What a
he's
name.
a very popular investor. I don't even know how to introduce the guy, but
Yeah.
I mean, after going through business school and all kinds of different finance classes and stuff like that, another thing I'm going to recommend, if you're going through finance, then buy some stocks. Even if you're buying only $50 to $100, whatever it may be, buy some stocks, even get a practice account and really start applying those formulas that you're learning. That's something I wish I had started doing earlier, because now I'm finding, after reading this book, it was recommended to me by an old business partner at my accounting firm thing. But yeah, his name's Dan. Shout outs.
I like how it's small.
Yeah,
Well,
me
that's the
too.
thing. It literally-
Smaller than my phone, for
took
fuck's
2
sakes.
days to read. It's very simple, and the reason why I recommend it is because he explains it to the reader the way he's explained it to his kids over time. Investing. It's about
Wow. So I'll be good. That'll be an easy read for me.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. But no. It's like he talks about starting, I think it's like a bubblegum store or something like that. It's like such simple concepts, but then he explains a couple of formulas and ways to evaluate stocks and companies, and it just all makes sense. And so if you're really interested in kind of searching through, tutorials and stuff like that on how to invest and, all these different, there's so much content online. I was recommended this book, and I sincerely recommend it to anyone, because
Nice.
it's a great, easy read, and it's a very interesting take on how to kind of screen for what stocks you might want to invest in for the long term.
Are you getting paid to say this?
I'm not. But you know
I'm
what?
joking. But no, I
Joel
will.
Greenblatt, hit us up.
Yeah.
And we'll get a few signed copies for the next episode or something.
Oh yeah, let's do
That'd
it.
be cool.
Can I? You said it took you 2 days to read.
Straight up, if you'd like to read
Yeah, I
it.
was gonna say, if you don't mind.
Literally mark down
Blanche,
a couple
that'll take you a
formulas.
month and a half to read, buddy.
Yeah, probably with my attention span,
there
and that and
pictures?
the high button.
Is there any pictures in it?
Fill in the blanks, color books.
You know what? No, but the font is big, and I like big
Okay,
font.
now we're talking. I'm in now.
Like chapter 5, and you're already almost done the book, so
Okay,
that's pretty cool.
I hated.
12 chapters.
Do you ever read the book The Wealthy Barber?
I have not.
Me neither, but I heard good things about it. Safaris actually is the one that recommended it to your boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Zeus.
I said when I was with you the other day, I was like, yeah, I'm with Kirsh. What are you doing? He goes, why are you calling him Kirsh? His name's Max. I was like, oh, sorry. Like, he
Happens.
introduced himself as Kirsh. He's like, all right, whatever. But anyways, yeah, another good book that he recommended.
Okay,
The Wealthy
okay.
Barber. Guy, he was an elementary school teacher, or he was a barber, something like that. Anyways, great investment tips. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't know
No.
much about it.
Fair
But
enough, yeah. But 2 books we all got to take a read into.
I want to talk to you. What do I want to talk to you about? Oh, yeah.
There's lots.
The music industry.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bitch, from what I hear. It's a tough one. It's a tough one to crack.
Yeah.
And when I look at rap is the genre I like. I like other genres as well, but I look at rappers the most. And I see, when I look at a successful rapper these days, I don't just see a rapper. I see another career path. I see a chef like Action Bronson, also a rapper. Do you think that's key in today's market, if you are going to be in the entertainment industry, that you have to diversify and also be something else, especially in the music industry? I don't want to talk about any other industry, just that music industry.
I think without diversifying and showing people a little bit more about who you are,
Yeah.
you're going to be limiting your brand to just your music. You know, if you're a musician and you love rapping about cars, then why not have videos about you and your favorite cars? And like, you should be putting out. Restart the question.
So if you are a rapper and you want to diversify, actually, no, that's not even the question. Do you think it's necessary to diversify if you want to be a successful music artist? Doesn't even have to be rap, I guess.
Well,
just if
I think this is a general business tip, because the way I see music and the music business is no different than any other business. With music, you're marketing music. That is your product. The same way you're going to be marketing your bananas, your Powerades, your Mick Cafe.
Yeah.
You've got to figure out how to get that music into people's hands, into their phones, into their ears. And that's kind of, I mean, if you're not collaborating, and if you're not diversifying, and if you're not partnering up with different people in the industry, if you're not diversifying and doing different,
limiting.
Like different styles of content, then people are going to get bored. People are going to stop finding you. Like, you need those streams and those audiences to really build your audience. When you're doing a collaboration with, you know, like rappers that Lil Wayne, for instance, he did a campaign with Bell. Now he's got a bunch.
Did he?
Yeah, I think it was Bell, or no, it was with Samsung, I think.
Okay.
With the waterproof phone, they pour champagne.
I remember
all
that
over
one.
it.
Yeah.
It's like, what does Lil Wayne have to do with phones?
Yeah.
But it's like now they've got this
Connection.
rap audience laughing about this new phone because you can party with it, throw it in your pool, whatever. And they've got all these older people who, you know, they're looking for a new phone, and they see this young dude, Lil Wayne. Who's Mr. Wayne? You know,
Mr.
they do
Wayne.
a little Google, Mr. Wayne, Samsung. It's like
Who's Little Wayne?
there's two different audiences benefiting off of that one advertisement, you know?
Well, that was my exact kind of full circle here. That's what I thought about the podcast. When Riley messaged me saying, do you want to do video content? I was like, well, the downloads aren't really here for the podcast where I want them to be. I'm going to have to diversify.
Yeah.
So that's where the whole thing came into play, was those street interviews. I was like, all right, well, someone's going to have to see another side of my personality. Because I think it's like, you know, I'm not a split personality kind of guy. But when I'm on here, I'm more, you know, I want to learn.
Yeah.
And when I'm on the streets, I'm trying to be a little bit more funny.
Yeah.
So you got to diversify your personality and your brand. And so far it's working because the downloads have been increasing.
Well, yeah, it's also
Humble brag.
It's knowing your audience. It's like here, you know that your audience for the podcast, they're listening more attentively, and you know what they're looking for. So
Right.
you talk and you educate yourself, which is in turn educating them. Whereas you know that the people for your videos, your viewers there, they're looking for funny comedy and for engaging local, you know, content. So it's just
And no one wants to be sidebarred downtown for, 25 minutes to talk, right? It's quick, funny stuff. But
exactly.
when you guys kept saying diversifying. For some reason, the artist that I thought of about doing that was Taylor Swift. She started out as like pure, pretty much hit country songs, slow. Some of them were upbeat, and then she moved into like I don't even know what that style was, like pop.
Well, yeah,
I guess
even before that, she got her start, I believe, in the churches, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
She was like a country singer, and she would do like folk songs in the church, and then she got
the crowd changes.
Yeah, she started doing the country hits. Like, I don't know if anyone will know. I think it's like Our Song and a Drop on My Guitar.
Campbell, if you're listening, you know these songs. I know you do.
And T Swift, if you're listening, hit us up. We'll get you on the podcast.
On my brain.
But yeah, so I mean, then she started diversifying and kind of getting more poppy when it came to the Hannah Montana and the Miley Cyrus stuff.
Exactly what I thought of, yeah.
So but I mean, it also goes with her age. She was growing at that time, the same way Justin Bieber. He's changed his audience. First, it was kind of teenage girls, and all the teenage boys would be like, "I don't like Bieber."
Yeah,
but now
true.
All the teenage boys. There was that time when he was putting out a few kind of techno-y, kind of EDM style tracks.
Oh yeah,
R&B, whatever.
And then bam,
everyone's like, you know what? Bieber ain't so bad. I'm waiting for his next banger. You know,
he's Drake tattoos
Drake
now.
Too?
Drake 100%. He was the underground rapper, and he over time with tons of mixtapes, tons of collaboration, tons of sponsorship. He's killing it. Like,
he's so fucking smart too.
He's dominating it.
Yeah,
he is
so smart.
Drake, if you're watching this, then you too, bro.
I listened to like I think 6 of his songs on the way in here today, man. And like for me, when I'm sitting in my car, my favorite songs of Drake's are when he just like not even so much a story, he just kind of going off and he's just spitting and it's heat and he's rhyming the whole time, but he's kind of telling like a little story, but it's not the whole song. That's my favorite Drake song, and it's just fun to fucking sit there and try and rap with him.
You just mentioned something though. So you just mentioned so much. It was about stories, and it's about sitting there and trying to rap with them. Mm-hmm. Both of those points are also business things. It's like, by telling a story, and for marketing purposes at least, telling a story is one of the best ways to engage with your audience. Here, we're telling stories about what's happening in the streets of Halifax. Who's here? What do they think of this? Mm-hmm. That's a story. And then, it's like people can engage to that, whether they've been in that place or they've been in that situation. It relates to them and it speaks to them. Mm-hmm. So then the other thing you mentioned there is that, you like to just kind of sit and try and do the lyrics in your head. So it's not like that just happened on, by chance. It's like, that's the way that he's produced his music, for you to be able to do that, because it's part of this formula. Like, musicians are producing music according to a formula in a way. It's like they know the structure of the song. They know when the bass needs to hit. They know They need a
nice.
line right before the bass hits.
Yeah.
They need something funny. They need something catchy.
When to change their
people
voice, that kind of shit.
change up the flow. They have to have something that you don't need to understand the words, but you can still sing.
I find Quake's really good at that. While we
You
said
have to
it.
connect
really
on a
good at all
deeper
of
level in a
this. Yeah,
sense.
That's
yeah.
why Quake is killing.
Different voice, knows when to change it. All of a sudden, you're rapping with him, and then he switches it up on you. But and you're like, "Wow,
Yeah.
You still feel like it relates to you, and you could probably sing it in a couple of tries. You know.
yeah, exactly."
Back to storytelling, I feel, and to switch genres and stand-up comedy, I find the best stand-up comedians are the ones that tell stories. They don't tell jokes.
Yeah.
They tell funny stories.
experiences and shit like that, but
Yeah.
then you just kind of make it your own, right?
100%, and it's not only stories, but it's asking the audience about their stories, and it's engaging the audience. You know, that's again with business and relating this back to entrepreneurs and stuff. Like Chris D'Elia, very popular comedian. I've seen him countless times live at the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory, and he's been running it like a business. And I've watched him at the beginning of his career, and I've seen him test out his jokes on the smallest of audiences, maybe 5 to 10 people.
Yeah.
But he's looking for the reaction.
Yeah.
He's figuring out what works. It's market research. It's performing for smaller audiences, and it's hustling, and it's literally putting yourself out there. But it's learning from every single time that you do that. And I forgot how it even started, but it's
Me too, man.
comedy.
I saw him through Vine. That's how I found
Right?
out about Chris.
Yeah, I got photos from way back. Maybe I'll send them to you. Throw them up there or something. It's funny.
You've spent some time in LA, eh?
Yeah, I've been there probably 5 to 10 times. My brother, shout out David.
What's up, Dave?
What's up, Dave? Big dude.
See you. He's been down there for years. He went to a school down there for music and sound engineering.
Oh yeah.
And
That's. Sorry, keep going.
yeah, no, he's just been building his network down there. He's been he went on a YouTube tour with some awesome
Dope.
YouTubers way back in the day, and it's really, I mean, he's doing his thing. He's a great music producer, and it's just a matter of leveraging the connections he's made and the skills that he's learned through the schools there. I want to do business with my brother, you know, but it's like I'm gonna have to be going down to LA more. But I need.
Is he still in LA?
He's still in LA. He's actually coming up to Toronto in the end of August. So
Are you gonna go meet him?
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the best thing about LA, man. Monday through Sunday, you can do anything. Like, you want to go see Bill Burr on Wednesday? Go see Bill Burr on
Fuck, I
Wednesday.
love Bill
You
Burr,
can
man.
do absolutely anything you want to do.
I love his
Like, you know,
rawness.
like when you're on home and you're looking at all your favorite artists and whatever they do, you can do
always a
that
show.
in LA any single day of the week. There's always a performance.
Sounds
There's-
fucking
I
exhausting.
was at the not the comedy. Yeah, I was at the Comedy Store, and it was the headline was Judd Apatow. So, you know, Judd Apatow was great,
Homie.
but who else showed up? Who's the guy that just died? Charlie Murphy's brother, or was it Charlie Murphy?
Charlie Murphy.
He died a year ago.
It could be. I don't know.
Anyway, so some guy still Steve Martin showed up as well. Bobby Lee showed up.
Oh, every time. He's there. The amount of times that I've seen him live, bro, it's gotten to the point where I see him, he comes up and he like nuzzles my neck and he's like, "Say hi to your mom."
Yeah, there you go.
So funny.
Just the weirdest guy, but the funniest guy.
Always shows his pubes on stage.
And the other guy that showed up, he's on Joe Rogan's podcast all the time. The guy that's in The Hangover. No, not Galifianakis. Anyway, I forget his fucking name. Anyways, not the point. You can see anyone can pop in, and you can network with anyone as well if you have good people skills.
All it takes is for you to tell one story or one joke that someone enjoyed, like to tell the next person, then he tells his buddy at a party, and then they all think it's fucking hilarious, so they go tell their parents, and their parents are telling her at work, and then all of a sudden you got 5,000 people from this town going to see their fucking show.
Yeah.
And you're like, how did this happen?
Yeah, and that's just one genre. That's just
That's what I
comedy.
mean. Yeah.
Like, you could go play at a bar.
Same, word of mouth, man, is the most powerful thing, I think. The storytelling. You just said it.
And social
Yeah.
media. Word
Yeah.
of mouth is social media, getting people to tag people, popping up in other people's streams. But it's word of mouth, and we've just spoken about so much. It's crazy.
The best part about tagging people is like, it's like sometimes you get Snapchats or whatever that you're not interested in, but like you have no fucking choice but to receive them unless you turn that app off. It's like if you tag someone on Instagram, you know they're getting it.
Whether or
it doesn't
not you like
matter.
it, they're aware.
Exactly.
You know, like the awareness is
Yeah.
there.
That's so powerful.
Have you ever seen the movie Shep Gordon, Supermensch? He's the manager for Alice Cooper and a bunch of people back in the day.
I don't know if you recommended this to me or my old boss recommended this to me, but it's something that
It was
I know
definitely
I
me.
recommended. Okay,
There's
boom.
three movies I recommend to people, and that's one of them. I talk about it anytime I can bring it up. We'll watch it, you and
I
I.
haven't made it through too many full movies, man, to be honest with you.
It's not even. It's a movie. It's a documentary.
I'm in there.
You should watch it.
Tribute.
Kirsh. It's what'd you say?
I was just saying a tribute from 6ix9ine to XXXTentacion.
Oh, rest in peace to that guy.
Yeah, I think that just came out.
Yeah,
on
you sound like a
YouTube.
great fucking person.
It's mixed reviews on him.
Yeah,
Model
but
citizen.
No matter
if you
what,
will.
I mean, nobody deserves death.
It's true.
They were doing their thing, and everyone deserves a second chance, in my opinion. I'm not speaking to what they did. I'm not speaking to what they could do. I'm just speaking to the situation that was tragic, no matter how you cut it.
I didn't listen to his music until he died. I hate to say that, but I
Some
did
people have
recently
never
listen
heard
to
of
his music. Great music.
Yeah.
Great, good songs.
Very talented. You
Yeah.
can't deny that's the truth, you know?
I find that's one thing that this whole thing is helping me out with, is having more of an open mind for things like that.
You got to, man.
You know what I mean?
To.
Like for me, my whole life has been just like, sports and partying and shit like that. But now it's like, okay, now I want to learn about this and this, and then even if I don't want to learn about it and I learn about it, I'm like, oh shit, that was cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this whole thing kind of blew my mind a little bit, right?
You know,
I learn things every day because I haven't learned a whole lot up until now, but
that's the way. Learning daily.
absolutely.
That's what I fuck with.
I never learned anything in school that I'm using now, so I'm learning everything as I go.
Google. When you were
Google.
Yeah, when you were talking about at the beginning how like things just like if you're thinking about something and then it'll come to fruition with you in front of you the next day, that's been happening so much recently. It's ridiculous.
I don't even want to talk about that again because it freaks me the fuck out.
I was on the
Straight
bus. Okay,
Just before we continue, interject. If you guys are fascinated by this, and if you are fascinated by this as well on the podcast, check out the movie. I know it may be a little slow and boring, but it is very, very interesting. It's called The Secret.
Seen it.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
Okay, boom. So yeah,
it's right.
Well, now I got to find out because it's a secret.
but The Secret, it's about the law of attraction. It's about if you think about something, and if you think about it enough, it will happen. You want this high button to be the biggest thing ever. I totally agree with you, and you're finding people that also totally agree with you. We want this to be huge. Therefore, if we think this, we will achieve this. And so I think slowly it's already happening. I mean, I'm not saying we are the best and we've killed it, but it's like we've made some really remarkable achievements in the week or two that we've really been working together.
And some things we can't even talk about yet that are going to be even big, like things that are in the back pocket that we're about to bring out. But that is a cool movie. It's with anything too. It's not with big things. It's like an example they had was like a parking spot. You're in a packed Costco parking lot on a Saturday. There's no parking. Think about a spot opening up. A spot will open up. And I swear to God, you can call me a
positive thinking, man. I agree with you 100%.
It happened. You can call me a fucking nut. I thought of a space opening in front of what's that pizza place there, right next to the Oxford or next to Olin Brewery, Mother's Pizza. Okay. No parking down there.
Yeah.
So I pictured someone pulling out, someone pulled out, I parked right in. Swear to God, it happened.
I believe
it was
though.
incredible.
The way that the world works is absolutely insane. Like, it blows my mind because, here's another thought that kind of relates to this also. The other day,
I'm sorry.
Someone shared this, and it's very true, and it kind of is a bit of a brain, a mind fuck. But the brain literally named itself. It's like...
Explain.
Yeah,
it's like...
Elaborate.
Who named the brain? Who called the brain the brain?
Pinky.
That's good.
I don't know who named the brain the brain.
But that's the thing. Some guy with a brain, that his brain invented itself.
The brain.
And it's like...
Well, who invented... That's just a word, though. Like, who invented the word cancer? Like, where do words come from?
The word
brain.
sauerkraut.
Oh, it was probably a scientist back in...
It was relative 5 minutes ago. Now I forgot where that stemmed from, bro.
I know
it. Nice.
Oh, stem cell?
Stemmed in the brain. I love
it. Yeah.
I'm scientific as shit.
That was good. You should go for your doctorate or something.
Yeah. You ever listen to Eddie Bravo, that guy speak?
Name rings a bell, but
he's on Joe Rogan's podcast too. That's a guy who's he's a deep thinker. He, like, how people just say, oh, someone figured it out. How far is the distance from here to the moon? No, someone figured it out. That's like people's mindset in the world. Like, no, you figure it out. You find out what the distance is from you to the moon. Because if I told you right now the distance to the moon was 1,045 light years away, you just go, oh, okay. Yeah, you wouldn't. You just be like, oh, that's right.
Yeah.
No, you figure it out. You look into it. Who named the brain? I don't know. You figure it out.
So that's the thing. That's also
people's mindset.
Sorry, another thing that I just thought about while we're talking about entrepreneurs and stuff. It's like, get a mentor, someone who will push you to learn, someone who will not tell you those answers, even though you know that they know them.
Yeah.
Like, I've had a few mentors in my time, and they are, I consider them geniuses, and I will go to them when I know for a fact they know the best way to solve one of my problems. But
they don't spoon feed it to you.
They don't spoon feed it. They're like, they guide your thinking, and that's something that I've found extremely valuable. in learning. It's like they don't just tell me. I have to figure out exactly why something is the solution, and it's crazy.
I used to hate that growing up. Because now you say mentor, and then I thought about it, and I'm like, man, I'd be like, Dad, why did this happen? And he'd be like, well, and I'm like, why didn't you just give me the fucking answer? Like,
Right.
And now you know why.
and now I know why. I obviously knew why, but it's just like something you're not thinking about constantly, right? Like,
Yeah, but it's about showing someone in a sense, in a timeline, in a story, how things should be and how things should work. You know, it's like teach someone, you do this and it causes this, then
Speaking of the mic, sorry.
yeah, no,
Yeah, no.
that's end
I
of
get
point.
it.
end of point.
All right, we're running up on an hour here, boys.
Shit.
Kirsch, you got to come back. That was.
Yeah,
We just
absolutely.
you go deep, right? I like talking to you.
Me too.
I
I feel like we're on the
fun.
same link here.
Yeah, it's good.
We're on the same
It's a
way.
good vibe.
It is a great vibe.
I would never been able to think like that if I never started smoking dope, though, to be honest with you.
Hey, you
That's-
know what?
Because I'm just going to give a pro weed shout out. I don't care.
No,
Go ahead.
as you
More
should.
elaborate,
You know,
more
there's-
deep of a thinker. It helped me in hockey. You know what I mean? Things slowed down. You're like, ooh, well, what about this though? What about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
October
So-
14th.
17th.
something like that.
But I had to just mention that because I feel like that's why we're able to sit here on the same link, you know?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's I mean, another thing about pro weed, just because we're already talking about it, it's like people have been using it medically and recreationally for so long. Nothing is about to change. It's just going to be very, very interesting to see
Where the
how-
world goes.
you know, where Canada
The
goes.
world is changing. guys.
Shit on people all you want. Productive stoners is what it's all about.
Successful stoners.
All right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Everyone listening, I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you very much for the support. We have so much. We got a lot of big news coming up. Nothing that we can really announce right at this very moment, but we have a lot of things in our back pocket that we are excited to announce to you, not just on the podcast, but video content, clothing, merch, all that good stuff. Excuse me. This is just the beginning, so we appreciate the support. If you could go to all of our social media outlets, Instagram, Twitter, iTunes, SoundCloud, Facebook, and actually we just found out today that we are on Spotify now, so
Boom.
appreciate that. Kirsch, if you want to give a plug to any of your businesses, anything that you're doing.
I mean, follow me on Instagram for some daily shenanigans by me, some promo of some stuff that I'm up to. Follow Perks Halifax if you're ever in the East Coast and you're looking for some fun stuff to do, or you got a question about the city. We'll be your mobile concierge. What about you guys,
dudes.
I just want to give a shout out to everyone who's reached out for the last little bit. Appreciate the feedback. Appreciate you tuning in. Means a lot. Hopefully we keep bringing some deadly shit your way.
All right, we're out. We love you guys.
Peace.